Footsteps creep on the wooden floor. Shadows dance like they've been here before. A whisper floats where no one's near. It's not the wind, it's something clear. Beyond the cottage door, what lies in store? Ghostly tales and so much more. Beyond the cottage door, the unknown roars. Step inside, let the spirit soar. Candlelight flickers, the walls confide. Secrets of those who never died. Cold breath lingers, a chill in the air. Sit with us if you dare. Beyond the cottage door, what lies in store? Ghostly tales and so much more. Beyond the cottage door, the unknown roars. Step inside, let the spirit soar. Let the spirit soar.
Welcome to Beyond the Cottage Door, because the dead have stories too.
And sometimes they come with a big price tag and claims of a haunting.
Some people collect antiques. We collect haunted items. Buy now, haunt later. In today's longer episode, we're diving into the eerie, fascinating world of haunted, cursed, and just plain weird objects. The kind that you know has something attached to them, and yet we still bring them home.
We're digging into the history of spirit vessels, different types of attachments, and how ordinary items become portals for the paranormal. We'll also be sharing the chilling tales behind our own haunted objects, how they came into our lives, and where we keep them, whether that be at home, in the cove, or tucked away in the cottage. The good, the bad, and the spine-tingling experiences that they've brought with them.
And we're not alone. Today we're joined by the lovely Ruthie and Jamie from Paranormal TRuth, who are sharing their own experiences and happenings that they have witnessed when working with haunted objects. So this next section we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts in terms of haunted objects. So whether you're dabbling in the paranormal or accidentally brought home a haunted mirror from a charity shop, it's time for a little guidance.
Yes, welcome to our haunted objects do's and don'ts, also known as how to not get spiritually cursed before breakfast.
So let's start with the do's. The stuff that will keep you safe and sane.
Do trust your instincts and intuition. If something feels off, heavy energy, unease, weird dreams, pay attention. Your body often knows before your brain catches up.
Do cleanse the space before bringing it inside. Smoke, salt, moonlight, sound cleansing, lighting a protection candle with intention, or even a good old spiritual bath. Whatever your practice is, use it. It's not just for aesthetics, it's your armour.
Yeah, do set boundaries, and we mean that literally. Create energetic protections around your space, yourselves, and anyone else that comes into contact with the item. Speak out loud. You are not allowed to harm, attach, or linger.
Do document your experiences. Keep a log. What you felt, saw, heard. This sees how patterns emerge, and it's super helpful if things do get serious and you need help with an object.
Do treat spirits with respect. Whether you believe it's a ghost, residual energy, or something stranger and darker, don't taunt, mock, or provoke. You're not starring in a horror movie.
So now let's talk about the don'ts. The fast track to a haunted object mental breakdown.
Don't open sealed, nailed shut, or heavily bound containers, especially one marked with symbols you don't recognise. That's not a challenge, that's a trap. Often the spirit has been trapped for a reason.
Don't sleep with haunted objects in your bedroom that make you feel uneasy and that have bad intentions towards you. Spirits love proximity. Don't make it easier for them to whisper sweet nothings at 3 a.m.
Don't assume every haunting is evil or negative, but also don't assume it's harmless. Curiosity is fine, overconfidence, not so much.
Don't forget to protect yourself. That means shielding, grounding, cleansing, not just the object, but your energy too. Haunted objects can mess around deeply with your mood, your sleep, even your relationships.
And the biggest don't of all don'ts, don't ignore the signs when something escalates. If your gut says this isn't right, listen, call in help.
So, in summary, what we're basically saying is protect, respect, and don't invite spirits in for tea unless you really know what you're doing.
And even then, maybe have salt and crystals in your pocket just in case.
And another point to put out there is if you have got an object that you feel uneasy about, there is people around that are willing, that can help and offer you that guidance. So please don't feel that you've brought something home from the charity shop, a haunted mirror, and you don't know what to do with it. There is places and people that are willing to help with those sort of items.
Yeah, don't feel on your own. And if you need any advice, email us at the bottom.
And we can signpost you to the right things. So in this section of Beyond the Cottage Door, we're joined by the lovely Ruthie and Jamie from Paranormal TRuth, who've come here today to speak to us about haunted vessels. So guys, the first question we've got to ask you is, what was your very first haunted object that you had, and how did it come into your possession?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you answer that one.
Well, where is she?
She's down here. Yeah. There she is.
This is Lily. Lily came into, well, my possession really. She came from another paranormal team called, you'll be familiar with them, Paranormal Covered.
Yeah.
They basically just said one day, you know, we'd like to give you a doll. I was like, okay. And I was given Lily. She didn't look like this.
Yeah.
She looked quite different. She had the same outfit on. Her hair was slightly different. And I can remember I fetched her home, showed you, and you were just like, okay. At the time, her hands, her feet, her face, all painted white. She had black lips, black eyes. She was, and I don't know why or what it was, but something just sort of spoke to me and said, I don't look like this.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it, and it was pretty much...
You just said you got a little voice, just appeared.
Just like, she just said, this isn't me. So, I think it was the next day, wasn't it? I took her into my little nail room at home, and I spent the next 2 days restoring her to this. She got a full makeover. She got a wig took off.
It's a proper repair shop you did.
Proper little repair shop thing I had going on. A lot of love went into it, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
You would come in, fetching me
Cups of tea,
sandwiches and stuff, and out there working away. So she had the full works, the full Monty. I even put new eyelashes on and everything. And now she looks like this. And I am very attached to this doll. So yeah, she was our first ever haunted object.
So when you got given the vessel, before you got given the vessel, was you actively like seeking, or had you thought about owning a haunted object or a claimed haunted object or anything like that, or had it not come to you to think to get one? Was it just by chance?
I think it was starting to be more aware of them as what we were, and as we were starting out, and we were sort of like we need some gear, we need something to go out with and help with that connection with spirit, and it was either, is it a trigger object we might need, and vessels were sort of like a little bit different to trigger objects. But then when we were sort of aware of what vessels could be, it was an interesting thing for us to sort of have something we could use.
Yeah, so I'd say we weren't actively looking.
No.
I think it's something we've grown to, well, me personally, as you ladies will know.
Yeah.
James like, you're not having any more.
No, that was about dog
and we all know
fight.
how that ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something we were actively looking for, but
No, but then we've sort of welcomed it. Once we had one, we thought, oh, okay, then it's something we need to look after. And we were aware of it and be careful. We were sort of got a little cabinet. We had an empty cabinet at the bottom of our stairs with just nothing in it whatsoever.
It's an old retro cabinet. It's lovely.
Display cabinet of some kind.
And now it is full.
Yeah. We weren't allowed to put anything in it for a while, but then, first vessel, presented it quite nicely, and then 2, 3, 4. So we've got a really nice display. It fits. It works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So obviously you've taken in quite a few haunted objects or objects with claims of a haunting. Have you ever taken something home that you've regretted?
I'd say no. I know when we first got Eli, I was a bit like, oh. But I think as time's gone on and as it turns out, he's definitely, this one and him are my favourites. So no, there's nothing you probably regret because we haven't got the space.
It's workable, isn't it? We're okay
I'm
with
like,
it.
I can fit another one in there.
So our next question would have been, have you got a favourite? But you've kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Is that like for both of you?
To be fair, I think because he's got a character, and I think that was the interesting thing when we obviously picked the doll up from yourselves. And what I found was interesting is one of the work you'd done prior to us receiving it probably helped us have it a little bit more. It introduced us in a good way to them, because we knew that one, you'd done some background work on it, so we knew what was coming in. And it helped us have a starting point with that item, so we went off sort of balance with it. And then when we sort of had a little sort of evening time sessions with them, didn't we? When we got them out, talked to them, and the feedback we were getting was quite interesting. It was, and that sort of helped us grow with them as well.
Tallied up with.
That's really cool.
And that made us feel more at comfort with them. To be fair.
Just grab it.
Yeah.
This is Eli.
This is our lovely Eli.
We have had people come in
lovely
though, haven't we? Where people have come in and felt uneasy around them a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
We felt uneasy about the cabinet in general, but then we don't know what that reason is, but we've not had that feeling.
Experience
personally from our
Maybe
side.
that could be like some people have like a fear towards the paranormal, and maybe it's their fear building, the fear of the unknown. That's the uneasy feeling.
You
that
guys
getting
have
around
created
it.
a connection with these vessels and the items that you have because you've chose them, you've worked with them, you've got that connection, whereas people entering that space won't have that, so it's just fear. So what kind of evidence have you collected from working with dolls, and like what is the most compelling piece of evidence you feel like you've collected so far?
Well, it's interesting with this guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've told you before about it. Every single investigation we go on, bar one, because we physically took him. His name comes through every time, and even like people that watch us have noticed it. You know,
they're starting to pick up on the name, and
like,
you
oh my
can
God,
see
you know,
like
it's
the
coming through
reaction
again.
through the sort of media.
And we're talking like your spirit talk around. I mean, I know people can be a bit with that, but like necrometer, spirit talker, and our empath device. It happened last night on.
Not just ours,
on not
other
just ours,
person's.
on the other person's device, his name came through first, and then about half an hour later it came through on our device. And it's without fail, pretty much, I'd say near enough every investigation we do.
And not just his name either. Do you know when obviously you've done that history of him and some of the background of what he's about, some of that story was coming through as well at the same time. So it's not just his name's coming through, it's some of the things that he's associated with as well.
There was one particular live, a lady came in to our live stream, and she's called Jodie, as we found out as we were talking, and he wasn't even, it was in the cabinet.
We never even presented him yet, have we, to anybody?
It's the first time she'd come in, and we were just chatting away, and she said, some reason I'm picking up on like a clown or something like that, or a jester or something like that, and I'm getting the name Eli, and I was like, whoa, just wait there 1 second, and I went and got him.
Yeah.
And because she's into her like dolls and things, and she was explaining about him, and she just had to say, my name's Jodie. Now on the information sheet, I don't know if you guys remember, but he's connected to a Jodie.
Mm-hmm.
She was called Jodie.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh my god.
Just it's like those little things you're thinking, well, what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she doesn't know us, that was the first time she'd been in, so that was like.
And we'd never put him on the camera beforehand, had we?
No.
So we were saving him and reserving him for
An
any particular time.
investigation,
But then
yeah.
you go, oh wow, yeah, this seems a good time just to sort of like bring him out.
But like
That's
all
awesome.
the people that follow us, like knowing, they're like, get Eli out.
Yeah.
He's got his own little
It's
following.
been requested.
A little fan club.
So do you think, obviously because you've experienced like his name coming up on investigations, do you think he, in terms of his spirit, comes with you now and like maybe acts as protection because he trusts you guys? It's like you're his guardians and he sort of offers that protection on investigations.
I think so,
Yeah, I think we get that vibe, we get that feeling.
Yeah, I think
definitely.
it's definitely with us. And it's a strange one because I think at first he seemed quite, shall we say, melancholy.
Yeah.
And I think now, I don't know if that's because he's got a sense of he belongs somewhere, maybe. I'm not sure, but I think that's sort of changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think I know he's here now physically, but I think, he's definitely cool because we've even had it here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he comes with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was going to ask how you validate, like if you've been given a vessel, how do you validate that there's something attached to that vessel? But I think you've touched on it in the answers that you've given. So what I will ask you instead is, what advice would you give to someone who wants to acquire a haunted object or a haunted vessel, and what would you advise them to do?
I'd say do your research and make sure you're getting the vessel or device or object or from people like yourselves that know what they're doing, and not just like, I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with online, but
Just
We've
verify
all
and
heard,
trusted.
we have all heard horror stories,
Yeah.
especially things that we've personally read online on like Reddit and other different blogging sites. The horrors of eBay dolls.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is sellers out there that are genuine. I'm not disputing that, but we have heard of people having these vessels that have claimed to be positive to turn out to be something that's quite affected an individual's mental health and stuff like that. So I think it's always important to remember, if you're wanting to start working with vessels, a big one is like, you don't keep them in your bedroom.
no.
Because obviously when you're asleep, you're at your most vulnerable psychically.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be careful, and to work with them in an environment that you feel like you can control.
Yeah, you're in control rather than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. You take your time over it as well, and don't expect something to happen instantly either. Sort of thing, because what might have been active somewhere else, there's probably a reason for it to be active then.
Yeah.
To go into your possession and suddenly act in exactly the same way, it probably isn't going to be doing that, is it? So.
Well, it's like, we've still got many others, and there's others that we've acquired from you, and we still need to do a lot of work with them that we probably haven't had time to or chance to, because probably these two have dominated more. So that might be another reason why we've got more of a connection.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but we've got plenty of time for that coming up.
So obviously we talked a little bit then about, what advice, but is there any specific thing that you guys do to welcome a spirit into your space? Like when you've got a new vessel or a new object, do you cleanse it? Do you put it with crystals? Is there any specific thing you guys do at home?
The only thing that we've got in the cabinet, we've got some selenite.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We just sort of state to them, this is where your area is, and that's where you stay.
Setting boundaries.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know if you do it, I know I do it, but when I come downstairs in the morning, because the cabinet's there, I'm just like, you all alright? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
we do that.
I just chat to him.
I do the
And I'd be
opposite.
like, are we all alright today? You know, this kind of thing. And if anybody saw me, they'd be like,
But you do the morning check, I do the nighttime check.
Yeah,
So I do like the
right.
locking up of the
Bedtime,
house at night time. So
everybody.
obviously the last thing I do is walk up the stairs and the cabinet's behind me. So I normally just tap on the cabinet. All right.
That's really
Good night,
that's
everybody,
really
like that, yeah, and stuff like that. So it's
But
yeah,
I think they
both do it.
all seem, I think it's quite harmonious. I don't think there's anything.
Well, nothing's changed, has it, in the house really since we've brought them in? There's been a couple of things maybe have picked up in energy wise as a whole.
But not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way,
Yeah.
but we can't explain to say what's gone on there.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to get rid of an object because of the feeling of it, or have you ever avoided getting one because of the feeling of it, I suppose?
No, because I think every single one we've got, we've been drawn to for some reason or other. And I think I'd only want it to be like that
Yeah.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, we
It's
need
like,
to,
I've got to, mainly me.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely I don't know, it's something you can't really explain, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more of a feeling like.
Yeah.
I think as well, obviously, because you have been working with vessels for quite a bit now, and you're quite confident on how to work with them and stuff. When you go into like places like antique shows and stuff like that, if you get a bad vibe, you're not necessarily jumping to think, oh, curiosity killed the cat, and like that's coming home with us. I think
I wouldn't.
your space and your energies, and you're not gonna
How it fits
disrupt
with
that.
us,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there any piece of equipment that you would recommend to anybody just starting out with haunted vessels or haunted objects? Is there one piece of equipment that stands out to you that you like to work with them with?
I like this.
The little magpies.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one, unfortunately, at the minute we need new batteries. What
Yeah,
is
'cause-
it? We get a lot with Lily because it normally tends to just stay with Lily,
Yeah.
and we do get a lot with her, don't we?
Yeah, and I think that's if you can try and get that communication or an element of a communication that they're there. Again, that little light. Sometimes, as I say, at night time, I've gone down to check on the dogs at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I know that light was definitely not on when I went upstairs,
Or it'll
and
come on.
it comes on and it's shining away,
Right.
and I
Turn
get
it
down.
off,
So I
Lily.
think, yeah, thanks very
Yeah.
much. I turn it off, and I come back down at 5 o'clock, and the light's back on again, and things
Yeah.
like that.
Mm.
And that's what I quite like with either vessels or trigger items, is maybe something else that has that type of non-electronic device that's not connected to sort of into the Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
that can maybe be manipulated by something to have that little bit. So
By like actual physical.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
to be able to
Yeah,
set
so
it
you
off.
sort of work side by side with that as a way to sort, because obviously we can't speak, but we can have that type of thing to
Yeah. No.
come through in
yeah,
some
it's a really
way.
good
So,
way.
yeah.
Right. So we want to say a massive thank you
You're
for
welcome.
joining on Beyond the Cottage Door. It's been lovely to talk to you as always.
Likewise,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay, so in this segment, we're going to be talking about how pop culture has changed the views on haunted objects. Because let's be honest, the first thing that comes to mind when you say haunted object is
A creepy porcelain doll with cracked glass eyes, sat in a chair, rocking by itself.
exactly, and we have the media and the movies to thank for that. This is the image they've created, and honestly, it's very dramatic.
Shows like The Conjuring, Annabelle, Chucky, they've made haunted objects seem terrifying, demonic and dangerous, but in real spiritual work, it's way more chilled than that.
Totally, most haunted or spiritually active objects aren't throwing people across the room or whispering threats in the night. Some don't even interact at all, they just hold energy.
The problem is pop culture often turns these objects into plot devices. They're cursed, they're evil, they're possessed by something that wants to destroy everyone, and that narrative sticks with people.
And honestly, it just creates fear. More fear over curiosity. Some people might see a weird vibe in an old family heirloom and just assume that it's demonic from what they've seen on the media and in the movies, when that's not the case. It could just hold a residual emotional imprint or just energy of a lost family member.
Exactly. Media rarely shows the spirits attached to objects can be neutral, sentient, and that some of them just want acknowledgement.
Another side effect of pop culture is people start to think that haunted objects are rare and only found in creepy old houses, antique shops run by a strange couple.
But energy can attach to anything: a favourite book, a necklace, a childhood toy, even things that look totally ordinary.
It's also important to note that pop culture tends to strip the spiritual and cultural context from these items. In reality, many cultures and long traditions use spirit vessels and bound objects in healing, protection, and in ritual work.
So instead of just reacting with fear, we should be asking, what energy does this object hold? Where did it come from? And how does it want to be treated?
Exactly. It's not about denying that some objects carry darker energy, because they can do. But pop culture has made us forget there's a whole spectrum.
Yeah, so next time you see an old mirror, a handmade doll, or a box with a strange vibe, maybe don't assume it's going to climb out of the box at night.
Instead, ask questions. What's the story here? Who's trying to be seen? How is this spirit being attached to this vessel? Work with the vessel and differentiate the type of energy that's attached to it.
Because at the end of the day, haunted doesn't always mean horror. Sometimes it just means that they're holding on.
So now we're going to talk about some of the personal items that have spirit attachments. And these are the ones that we have recently brought to the cottage, minus one that lives at home with me. So Jade, would you like to tell us a little bit about Edward and how Edward came to the cottage?
Yeah, so Edward was a bear being sold, and Rianne had seen this bear online, and immediately she was getting things from this bear, and she just felt drawn.
She felt the connection, didn't
She
she,
did.
straight away?
It was deep. She kept saying how she wanted this item, she couldn't be without this item, and things kept happening to prevent us from getting it. So eventually, after months and months of wanting him, people meant to go pick him up and they haven't done so. I contacted the lady that had him and I said, I really need to get this for my wife because she's really, really drawn to this bear. And we arranged to go collect him. We got there and the connection was instant. When she picked that bear up, it was like, there's no way she's ever going to let that go.
No.
So we took him back home, and I think I phoned you and told you that we'd managed to get the bear, and
Yeah.
Rianne was really happy about
But-
it, and we were really excited to work with him and see if the things that were felt from him were as we felt and where it
Yeah.
would go working with him.
For months and months and months and months, we had so much personal stuff going on. A house move, people's health's not being great. But anytime we'd get together to do any form of paranormal investigating, it would always be like, I need that bear. I need that bear. She would just so that attachment was already in the works
Yeah,
prior.
definitely.
Like that relationship that them two made was already, it was fate. In my
It
eyes,
was.
it was a fated moment. And obviously, what happened, Jade, when you got home with the bear? And obviously, after you'd called me, and I was like, "Yay, we've got him!"
Well, we knew we needed to put him somewhere secure, so that was the first step. And we also knew that we needed to start working with him and try and find out, one, is there definitely 100% an attachment with this bear, or is it just a feeling? And two, what kind of attachment is there if there is? So we started working with Edward, and honestly, we were blown away. The responses were so intelligent through many different ways, and the information we were being given was just amazing. And when we looked into the information that we were given, we managed to find out all his history of what he gave us: the name, the birth certificate, the street he lived on, the school he went to, where he was found, who he was picked up by, where he went to. And we've been able to verify this throughout history. And it's just one of those things where it's so intelligent, the information that we've been given. And now he's in an airtight container at the cottage, and Rianne she loves him, doesn't she? We all do,
Yeah.
but that connection is just something else.
It is something else. And obviously, with Edward, the reason why he's in an airtight container is because the materials that he's made out of, you can see the original repairs made on Edward the bear. Obviously, you can read more about him on our website,
Yeah, go
but
take a read.
he had some repairs done on him, and inside you can see that he's made out of old straw. And obviously, we want to protect him from like humidity, any sort of moisture
All
that
the
gets
elements.
into him, and obviously give him a safe space where he's not being bugged by all the other spirits in the priest's cottage. But honestly, Edward, he is very, very intelligent, and as much as he has got a connection with Rianne, I feel like he has a connection with us all in a little
Yeah, it's
way.
grown
We
a
all,
connection with us all. It definitely has.
we all like, if we've got sweets, it's always like we'll go drop one in for all kids in
Yeah.
nursery.
So that brings me to Timmy. Obviously, I saw Timmy for sale online, and he is a big vessel. He's very real looking. His features, his hair, his eyes, his eyelashes.
His fingers.
Like, if you see him, you'll understand what I mean. We'll have to post a picture up online. He is on some of our videos on our TikTok and our Facebook, so you can go find him there at FX Paranormal. And instantly, I was just drawn. I don't know what it was about him, but I just felt like I needed to bring him home and I needed to give him a safe space. So I contacted the woman and I said, "What is the story behind the doll that you're selling? Why are you getting rid of it?" And she said that she'd loved this vessel for a long time. She'd had him, and she felt like there was something with the vessel, but it was creeping her husband out. And after time and after time and after time, in the end, he said, "Can we pass him on to a new home? Like, it is getting to the level now of where, it's just feeling a bit
He felt
uncomfortable."
uncomfortable.
And that's fine. When we're not used to these things and it's in your home, I can get why you'd start to feel uncomfortable. So although she wasn't selling it as a claimed haunted item, I just felt drawn to that. And obviously, when we got him in the car to come home, I put the seatbelt on him, and the app we had on said thank you. And that was from the moment where he's just so cheeky.
He is.
He's so intelligent, he's
He's-
so cheeky. Like,
See, the thing is, with Timmy, I always feel like he has such a big personality. Like you always know when Timmy comes through on the devices because he has that cheeky little tone, and you know how energy just switches, and certain words are just what he uses regularly. And I feel like how he interacts with our equipment and like how we play with him is totally different to even Edward. Like Timmy is very much, he likes everything that lights up. He likes to play with the robots. He likes to do that kind
kick the
of
ball
thing.
with the robots. He likes
Yeah.
to move things. He asked us specifically for a chessboard, so we got him one. Like, these are the things that are coming through, and yeah, it's just been really good having him. What about you? What's your item? I think I know what you're going to say.
So yeah, I'm going to talk to you about Pops. And Pops is, to me, he's one of a kind. Like, he changed my view massively on clowns. I used to be absolutely terrified of anything that looked like a clown. Any films that had clowns in, I used to be terrified also of. But I happened to come across this little musical clown, and from that moment, I fell in love with him completely. And through working with him, he told me that he wanted me to call him Pops. His actual name's Kenneth, but he wants me to call him Pops. And I think I've sort of gained a spiritual granddad because he comes with me everywhere. So, like, even when his vessel is at my house, because he does like to offer protection and, like, he is very grounding for me. I think that's what is different with the children spirits that we've got. Pops to me is very grounding, and it sort of helps me regulate myself in, like that sort of spiritual moments. And I absolutely adore him. He likes anything that lights up again, any vibrational stuff, but he's very cheeky. So, like, you'll ask him to stop and he'll set it off 3 more times. Like, where I'll never forget that moment in the cove where I'd put him, like, on the little dresser thing that's in the cove, the writing table, and I'd put one of the pieces of equipment from, it was the old vibrational tracker from Andy Guy, and I'd put that in front of him, and it were going off and it were going off, and we were trying to work with another vessel. So I said to him, Pops, please, like, we're trying to work with this other vessel, like, can you just give us a little bit? And then all of a sudden it was buzz, buzz, buzz. So I looked at him and then looked away, and he's doing it again, and I'm just like, come on now. But he's just got such a big personality, and I feel like at the time, and I don't mind talking about this, but at the time, me mentally and like in terms of spiritually, I was not in a good place. My mum had just passed away, and like I was a bit all over the place, and I feel like he came to me at the right time. When I talk about him grounding me, I genuinely do mean like that vessel helped me get back on track, if you know what I mean, in terms of my spiritual journey and where I was at the time. So yeah, that's Pops, and he's a little cheeky boy, and a lot of people have started making little cartoon drawings of him, which is great.
He's got a little fan base of
He
his own.
has. He has. But yeah, so that is our take on our personal items, and obviously we have got many, many more. We've got
We have.
Celeste as well. So if you are interested in us sort of like bringing them on the podcast and introducing them to you, or potentially maybe setting up a little table with some devices whilst we're doing a podcast one day, it's definitely something that we can do. If you want that, email in, like, comment, get involved. This podcast is equally about what you guys want as content as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for listening to us, and we really do hope that you've enjoyed today's podcast.
Yeah, and if you have enjoyed listening, please come back again by following, liking, sharing, subscribing, give us some comments. And we just want to say a massive thank you to Paranormal TRuth for coming on this episode today. Thank you, Ruthie and Jamie.
And next time on Beyond the Cottage Door, we've got Bark Twice for Ghosts. We're diving deep into the mysterious world of what our furry friends see, sense and sniff out in terms of the paranormal. And obviously, like always, we will be reading through the listeners' submissions.
Yes, so send us your spooky pet stories and any paranormal evidence you've uncovered, and we might just feature your furry paranormal investigator on our next episode.
So, don't open doors that creak.
Unless you're ghosting short and your boundaries are set.
No means no to even ghost grandmas.
Let the spirit soar. Let the